As the years go by, one truth becomes clear. No matter how much the world changes, the need for human connection never fades. We all long to feel understood, to be seen, and to share our lives with others. Connection across generations is especially powerful because it brings together the wisdom of age and the energy of youth, weaving them into something greater than either could hold alone. Many older adults discover that their stories, once thought ordinary, become extraordinary when shared with grandchildren or younger friends. A memory of riding a bike without helmets, or working a first summer job for just a few dollars, can open the eyes of younger listeners to a world they've never known. These moments of sharing don't just entertain, they anchor family history and create bridges of empathy. Younger generations, in return, bring a freshness that reminds elders of the wonder of discovery. A child's first time using a camera phone, or a teenager's excitement about learning coding, can spark curiosity even in someone who thought they had seen it all. The energy of youth can breathe new life into older hearts, showing that learning never truly ends no matter the age. There is also deep comfort in knowing that your presence matters. When an elder teaches a grandchild how to cook a family recipe, or patiently explains the meaning of a cherished tradition, they are passing down more than skills, they are planting seeds of identity. These lessons give younger generations a sense of belonging, a reminder that they are part of something larger than themselves. Connection across generations also nurtures resilience. Life has its challenges, and sometimes the younger ones need reassurance that struggles can be overcome. Hearing stories of how elders endured wars, financial hardships, or personal loss gives younger people courage to face their own challenges. In return, elders learn hope from the optimism of youth, who see the future as something bright and filled with possibility. It is not just about family either. Many older adults who volunteer in schools, community centers, or youth programs find that these relationships give them renewed purpose. A retired carpenter teaching woodworking to teens, or a grandmother helping children learn to read, discovers that the gift of time and patience builds bonds that transcend bloodlines. These connections enrich both sides with a sense of meaning. For the young, guidance from elders can prevent mistakes and encourage wiser choices. For the old, being valued for their experience helps combat feelings of isolation or invisibility. Each generation, in its own way, reminds the other that they are needed. Technology sometimes seems like it creates walls between generations, but it can also serve as a bridge. A grandparent learning how to video call from a grandchild, or an elder teaching patience to a young one who rushes too quickly through tasks, shows that both have something to offer. It proves that connection does not depend on age, but on willingness to learn and share. At its core, intergenerational connection is about love. It's about slowing down to listen, about finding joy in differences, and about cherishing the gifts each age brings. When the old and the young walk side by side, they create a rhythm of life that is richer, more compassionate, and more hopeful. Ultimately, the value of connection across generations is measured not in the number of years lived, but in the lives touched. A laugh shared, a lesson taught, or a hand held in silence. These small acts carry a weight that lasts far beyond the moment. They remind us that we are not alone, and that together, across the span of time, we are stronger. One of the most enduring ways to connect across generations is through the passing down of life skills. These skills are more than just practical abilities. They are a living testimony of perseverance, culture, and family values. A recipe, a craft, or a way of solving problems often carries stories behind it. Stories that give younger generations a sense of identity and belonging. Take cooking, for instance. When a grandmother teaches her grandchild how to knead dough for bread, the lesson is not just about food. It's about patience, rhythm, and love. The smell of bread baking becomes a memory that lasts a lifetime, a memory tied to the hands that guided theirs. Such simple acts become lifelong treasures for those who receive them. Gardening is another example. Many older adults grew up cultivating gardens for necessity, not just for pleasure. Teaching a younger person how to plant seeds, tend soil, and Wait for Growth introduces not just the mechanics of gardening but also lessons about nurturing life, patience, and respect for nature. The garden becomes a classroom where generations meet. Crafts and handiwork carry similar significance. Skills like sewing, knitting, or woodworking may seem outdated in an age of machines, but they are gifts of creativity and resilience. Teaching these crafts connects the past to the present, allowing young people to see beauty in creating something with their own hands, while honoring the skill that has been passed down for decades. Life skills also extend beyond the tangible. Elders often hold invaluable lessons about managing money, practicing gratitude, and living with integrity. Sharing how to budget wisely, how to repair rather than replace, or how to approach challenges with humility can shape the character of younger generations in ways that no textbook ever could. Equally important are the values hidden within these skills. Teaching a child how to fix a leaky faucet isn't just about plumbing. It's about resourcefulness and self-reliance. Showing them how to write a thank you letter teaches more than words. It teaches respect, appreciation, and thoughtfulness. These values are woven subtly into every lesson. Passing down life skills also creates shared memories. A teenager may never forget learning how to fish from their grandfather, or how their grandmother showed them the right way to roll out pie crust. Years later, these young ones will retell the stories, not just of the skill but of the person who taught them, keeping both alive in their hearts. At times, the younger generation may not realize the importance of these skills until later in life. A young adult moving into their first apartment might suddenly recall the lessons their parent or grandparent gave them about cooking simple meals or mending clothes. In that moment, the wisdom of their elders becomes a lifeline of comfort and independence. These exchanges also affirm the value of elders. In a society that often glorifies the new, being able to share life skills proves that age is an asset, not a limitation. It reinforces that wisdom gathered over decades still has a place and purpose in today's fast-moving world. Ultimately, passing down life skills is an act of love. It says, I believe in you and I want you to carry this part of me into the future. Every lesson shared is a thread in the fabric of family and community, binding generations together with resilience, wisdom, and affection. Technology is often seen as the great divide between young and old, but it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, it can become one of the strongest bridges connecting generations. While younger people are usually quick to adapt to new devices and apps, older adults bring patience, wisdom, and perspective to how technology is used. Together, both sides can learn and grow in ways they could never achieve alone. For many seniors, learning technology begins with something simple like video calling. The first time a grandparent sees the smiling face of a grandchild hundreds of miles away, the magic of technology becomes clear. That small screen suddenly shrinks the distance, making family bonds feel immediate and alive. What was once intimidating becomes a gateway to closeness. Younger generations often take pride in teaching these tools. A teenager showing a grandparent how to use social media, or a child guiding their elder through the steps of downloading an app, is more than a lesson. It's a moment of connection. Patience and laughter often fill the room, as mistakes turn into memories and learning becomes shared joy. But this exchange is not one-sided. While young people may know the mechanics of devices, older adults can guide them in using technology wisely. They can share the importance of moderation, the value of face-to-face interaction, and the dangers of relying too heavily on digital validation. In this way, elders provide the balance needed to use technology as a tool rather than a crutch. Technology also allows older adults to share their own skills in new ways. A grandmother teaching cooking can now record her recipes on video, preserving them for future generations. A grandfather with a love for storytelling can create audio recordings or even podcasts, ensuring that his voice carries on long after he is gone. Technology becomes the vessel for tradition, rather than the barrier. There is joy in exploring new interests together, too. Learning photography on a smartphone, trying out fitness apps, or even playing video games side by side can be surprisingly rewarding. These activities break down stereotypes about age and show that curiosity and fun don't belong to just one generation. Sometimes the roles even reverse. Younger people may find themselves inspired by the patience and determination of their elders when they struggle with new technology. Watching an older adult persist, refusing to give up until they understand, teaches resilience in a way no classroom could. It's a reminder that learning is a lifelong pursuit. Technology also opens doors to broader communities. Seniors who once felt isolated can join online groups, attend virtual classes, or reconnect with old friends. Younger family members can help set up these connections, and in doing so, they witness the transformative power of technology in improving emotional well-being. The process of embracing technology together builds mutual respect. Younger people realize that teaching isn't always easy, while older adults recognize that learning requires humility. This exchange strengthens bonds, fostering empathy, and deepening appreciation for what each generation brings to the table. At the heart of it all, embracing technology together is about love, trust, and shared growth. It is about choosing to walk side by side into a changing world, confident that no device or screen can replace the human warmth that drives us to connect. With open hearts and willing hands, technology becomes not a wall, but a bridge that brings generations closer than ever before. Stories have always been the threads that weave human lives together. Long before books or the internet, people gathered around fires, kitchens, or porches to tell stories that carried wisdom, humor, and lessons. For elders, storytelling becomes one of the most powerful ways to connect with younger generations, because it brings the past to life while shaping the values of the future. When a grandparent shares how they grew up walking to school through snow, or how they worked hard for their first paycheck, it isn't just a tale of survival, it's a lesson in resilience. Children and young adults begin to understand that life was not always as convenient as it is now. These stories provide perspective, reminding them to appreciate what they have and to approach challenges with grit. Storytelling is also a way of preserving culture and tradition. Recipes, songs, rituals, and even family sayings are all carried forward through stories. A grandparent explaining why a holiday meal is prepared a certain way, or why a family keeps a particular custom, creates continuity. These tales ensure that heritage is not forgotten but instead celebrated and honored across time. Beyond the lessons and traditions, stories spark imagination. A child listening to tales of adventures, whether real or embellished, learns to dream and to think creatively. A grandfather's story about fishing on a quiet lake at dawn can inspire a grandchild to seek their own moments of peace and wonder. Imagination becomes a shared experience, binding both storyteller and listener. These exchanges also open the door to vulnerability. Elders sharing mistakes or regrets show younger generations that imperfection is part of life. Hearing how someone overcame failure or learned from poor choices provides guidance in a way that lectures never could. It's not about preaching, it's about living examples. In return, young people often become the storytellers too. They share their own experiences at school, their victories in sports, or their struggles with friendships. When elders listen attentively, it validates those experiences, teaching children that their voices matter. The cycle of storytelling becomes a two-way street, where each generation feels heard and valued. Technology once again enhances this bridge. Families can record oral histories, create digital scrapbooks, or even build family podcasts where stories are preserved for generations to come. This blending of old traditions with modern tools ensures that voices and memories live on far beyond a single lifetime. Storytelling also strengthens emotional bonds. A child may forget the details of a story but will never forget the warmth in a grandparent's voice or the twinkle in their eyes as they spoke. The connection goes deeper than words. It is about presence, love, and the intimacy of shared time. These stories become anchors in times of uncertainty. A young adult leaving home for the first time may recall a grandparent's tale about overcoming fear. A family facing hardship may find strength in the stories of survival told by older generations. Stories carry hope, reminding us that no storm lasts forever. In the end, storytelling is not just entertainment, it is legacy. It bridges the gap between the old and the new, ensuring that experiences are not lost but transformed into guiding lights for the next generation. Through storytelling, we discover that no matter the age, every voice carries value, and every story has the power to connect hearts across time. While family connections are vital, the beauty of building intergenerational bonds is that they don't have to stop at the walls of a home. Mentorship beyond the family offers opportunities for elders to share their skills, wisdom, and guidance with young people in schools, community groups, or organizations. These connections can be just as meaningful as those formed with grandchildren, and sometimes even more impactful because they reach those who might not otherwise have access to nurturing support. When a retired teacher volunteers to tutor children in reading or math, the impact goes far beyond academics. That child learns that someone cares enough to give time and attention, and that kind of encouragement can change the trajectory of a young life. Elders carry patience and experience that many young people desperately need, especially in today's fast-paced world where distractions often replace meaningful connection. Mentorship can also happen in trade skills. A retired mechanic teaching teenagers how to maintain a car, or a seamstress showing students how to mend clothing, passes along practical knowledge while also modeling discipline and pride in one's work. These exchanges not only equip young people with tools for life but also instill respect for craftsmanship and perseverance. For young adults navigating their careers, mentorship from elders becomes invaluable. A retired business owner offering advice to a budding entrepreneur, or an experienced nurse guiding someone entering the healthcare field, provides insights that can't be found in textbooks. Stories of mistakes and triumphs prepare the next generation to face their own challenges with greater confidence. But mentorship is not just about skills, it is about presence. Many young people grow up without steady role models. When an elder steps into that gap, they offer stability and encouragement that can shape self-esteem and future choices. Something as simple as listening, encouraging, or showing up consistently can mean the world to someone who feels unseen. For elders, this exchange brings its own rewards. It combats loneliness, giving them a renewed sense of purpose. Mentorship offers a way to continue contributing, to feel that their years of experience are not wasted but instead turned into a gift for the future. This purpose often brings vitality and joy, reminding them that they still have much to give. Communities grow stronger when generations interact in this way. Programs that pair seniors with at-risk youth, or initiatives that bring older volunteers into classrooms, create bonds that ripple outward. The young benefit from wisdom, while the old benefit from energy and gratitude. The community as a whole becomes more connected, compassionate, and resilient. Mentorship beyond the family also teaches humility and respect. Young people learn to value voices different from their own, while elders learn that they can still grow by listening to new perspectives. This balance creates an environment of mutual learning, where no one is too old or too young to teach and learn. Technology has expanded these opportunities as well. Seniors can now mentor online, offering guidance through video calls, forums, or virtual classrooms. This allows mentorship to cross not just generations but also borders, uniting people from different cultures and backgrounds in meaningful ways. Ultimately, mentorship beyond the family is about legacy. It ensures that knowledge, compassion, and wisdom are not confined to bloodlines but shared broadly. When an elder extends their hand to a young person outside their family, they light a path forward, proving that community is built not just by relatives but by all who care enough to share their lives. Play is often thought of as something only for children, but in truth, it is a universal language that connects people of all ages. When older and younger generations come together through games, crafts, or hobbies, barriers melt away. Suddenly, age no longer matters. What matters is the laughter, the teamwork, and the joy of shared activity. Simple games like checkers, cards, or chess hold timeless appeal. A grandparent teaching a child the strategy behind a chess move is not just teaching a game. They are teaching patience, foresight, and the value of thinking before acting. In return, a child may remind their elder that fun can be found in spontaneity, that not every move needs to be perfect. Hobbies like baking or cooking together also carry deep lessons. A family baking day may begin with spilled flour and clumsy hands but ends with delicious memories and warm connections. The elder provides the guidance, the young bring the energy, and together they create something more than food. It becomes a story baked into every bite. Crafting is another powerful bridge. Whether knitting scarves, building model airplanes, or painting side by side, hobbies allow generations to slow down and focus on creativity. These moments encourage conversations that might not happen in formal settings. While hands are busy, hearts open, and wisdom flows naturally without pressure. Even outdoor activities provide rich opportunities for bonding. A walk in the park, fishing by a pond, or tending a garden together teaches patience and mindfulness. Younger ones learn the beauty of slowing down, while older adults are refreshed by the youthful curiosity that sees magic in every bug, flower, or ripple of water. Technology has also opened new avenues for play. Video games, often seen as a youth domain, can become unexpected grounds for connection. A grandparent learning to play a simple video game with a grandchild may stumble and laugh, but in doing so, they show willingness to step into the young person's world. That willingness often deepens respect on both sides. Hobbies shared between generations also help develop problem-solving and collaboration skills. A jigsaw puzzle, for example, requires patience and teamwork. As pieces slowly fall into place, so too does the relationship, piece by piece, forming a picture of trust and mutual respect. The beauty of play is that it strips away hierarchy. In those moments, the elder is not simply a teacher, and the child is not just a student, they become partners in fun. This equality fosters closeness and breaks down walls that might otherwise exist because of age or authority. Such shared hobbies often become traditions. A weekly card night, an annual fishing trip, or a seasonal baking ritual can become touchstones that families look forward to year after year. These traditions anchor family life and ensure that bonds remain strong despite busy schedules or distance. At its heart, learning through play and hobbies reminds us that joy is timeless. Laughter sounds the same in every generation, and creativity flows as freely from young minds as it does from old. In these simple, playful exchanges, life feels fuller, lighter, and more connected, proof that the best lessons are often learned when we're having fun together. Traditions are the heartbeat of every family and community. They remind us where we came from, who we are, and what values we hold dear. For older generations, preserving traditions and culture is more than simply repeating old habits. It is about passing down a living legacy that gives meaning to the present and shapes the future. Food is often the first and most cherished tradition. A recipe that has been handed down through generations is more than a list of ingredients. It is a story in itself. Teaching a child how to make the family's holiday dish, explaining why certain spices are used, or recalling the laughter around the table keeps both memory and culture alive. Every meal becomes an edible piece of history. Language, too, carries tradition. Teaching younger generations even a few words or phrases from an ancestral language connects them to their roots. It gives them a sense of identity and pride in knowing that they belong to something bigger than themselves. A simple phrase spoken at the right moment can carry the weight of centuries. Rituals and celebrations often serve as anchors in the year. From religious holidays to seasonal festivals, each tradition tells a story about what a community values. When elders involve young people in preparing, explaining the meaning behind songs, dances, or prayers, they ensure that these rituals continue to inspire long after they are gone. Even small traditions matter. A bedtime story, a walk after dinner, or a Sunday family gathering may seem ordinary, but they become the glue that holds generations together. Young people who grow up with these routines often carry them into their own families, unconsciously preserving the legacy of those who came before. Preserving culture also involves sharing history. Elders who lived through wars, migrations, or great social changes hold first-hand knowledge that textbooks cannot fully capture. Sharing these stories allows younger generations to understand not just events, but emotions, the courage, fear, and hope that shaped their ancestors' lives. Traditions evolve, and that is part of their beauty. The way a holiday is celebrated today may not look exactly like it did 50 years ago, but the essence remains. Elders can help young people adapt traditions to modern times without losing their meaning, ensuring that culture remains both relevant and respected. Sometimes, preserving traditions requires intention. Families may need to set aside time to cook together, tell stories, or gather for rituals. In a busy world, these moments become sacred pauses, reminding everyone of their shared humanity. Elders often lead the way in insisting that such traditions not be forgotten. Technology, once again, can serve as a powerful tool. Recipes can be filmed, songs can be recorded, and rituals can be shared online so that even distant family members can participate. In this way, traditions not only survive but thrive, reaching across borders and oceans to unite people in shared heritage. Ultimately, preserving traditions and culture is about love. It is about giving younger generations roots so they may stand strong, and wings so they may grow free. By passing down customs, stories, and rituals, elders ensure that the values of the past continue to guide the lives of those yet to come. Culture, when preserved with care, becomes the heartbeat that never stops. One of the most beautiful outcomes of intergenerational connection is the growth of confidence. On both sides. Confidence does not bloom in isolation. It grows when we are encouraged, believed in, and given space to learn. When elders share their knowledge with younger generations, and the young respond with curiosity and respect, each walks away stronger, braver, and more assured of their place in the world. For younger people, learning from elders often sparks pride. Imagine a grandchild learning how to tie a fishing knot or bake bread from scratch. The moment they succeed, a light shines in their eyes. They feel capable, empowered, and connected to something bigger than themselves. These lessons, while small on the surface, become cornerstones of confidence that last into adulthood. Elders, too, gain confidence from these exchanges. Too often, older adults feel their knowledge is outdated or their role diminished in a fast-changing world. But when a young person listens eagerly, asks questions, and learns from them, it is a reminder that their life experience is still valuable. That validation restores confidence, not just in their skills but in their continuing importance to family and society. These moments also teach both generations that mistakes are not failures but opportunities. A young person fumbling with a needle while learning to sew, or an elder struggling to understand a new smartphone app, both show vulnerability. But when they laugh together and keep trying, they reinforce that confidence is built not through perfection but through persistence. Confidence grows strongest in relationships where patience thrives. Elders who encourage rather than criticize allow young learners to flourish. Likewise, when young people show kindness as their elders learn something new, they offer a gift of reassurance. Both sides walk away knowing they are capable of growth, no matter their age. Shared accomplishments become milestones of confidence. Completing a puzzle together, finishing a home project, or preparing a meal side by side creates a sense of achievement. For the young, it proves they can succeed with guidance. For the old, it proves they can still contribute meaningfully. These victories may seem small, but their impact on self-belief is profound. Confidence also emerges from storytelling. When elders share tales of times they overcame hardship, they offer living proof that challenges can be conquered. Hearing how a grandparent managed with little money, or found courage in difficult times, gives young people a blueprint for their own resilience. In turn, the act of telling the story reminds elders of their own strength and reinforces their self-worth. Even in simple interactions, confidence quietly builds. A child asking their grandparent for advice on friendships, or a teen seeking help with a school project, communicates trust. For the elder, knowing their voice matters is empowering. For the young, receiving wise guidance builds self-assurance. Each reinforces the other, creating a cycle of mutual respect and strength. Communities also benefit when confidence is nurtured this way. A young person mentored by an elder may step into leadership roles with greater ease, while elders who feel valued are more likely to stay active, volunteer, and share their gifts. Confidence is contagious. It spreads from one person to another, lifting entire groups. In the end, building confidence in both generations is about more than skills or knowledge. It is about seeing and affirming each other's worth. It is about saying, "You matter. What you bring is valuable." When generations exchange confidence, they plant seeds of courage and dignity that will continue to grow long after the moment has passed. Every generation faces its own struggles, yet when young and old walk through challenges side by side, both discover strength they didn't know they had. Difficulties that seem overwhelming when faced alone often feel lighter when shared. Intergenerational bonds give us the courage to endure, reminding us that we are never truly alone in our struggles. For elders, life's hardships have been many: wars, economic downturns, illnesses, or personal losses. Sharing these stories of endurance gives younger generations not just history, but hope. Hearing how a grandparent rebuilt their life after loss, or how a parent kept going when times were hard, helps young people realize that setbacks are not the end but opportunities to grow. Younger generations also bring their own resilience. They face modern pressures such as navigating technology, managing school stress, or handling social changes that older adults may not have experienced. Yet their optimism, adaptability, and courage in facing new worlds can inspire elders to stay open-minded and hopeful about the future. When generations face challenges together, they learn empathy. Misunderstandings can arise. Elders may feel young people lack discipline, while youth may feel elders are too rigid. But working through problems as a team fosters patience and tolerance. It reminds both sides that differences are not obstacles but opportunities to understand one another more deeply. Health challenges provide some of the most powerful opportunities for connection. A grandchild helping an elder through recovery, or an elder comforting a young one through illness or disappointment, creates bonds that are forged in compassion. These experiences teach that care is reciprocal. Today one may give, tomorrow one may receive. Financial struggles, too, often bring generations together. Older adults may teach frugality and resourcefulness, while younger ones may offer modern strategies for budgeting or earning income. In these moments, both sides realize that wisdom can flow in both directions, and together they discover solutions neither could have reached alone. Sometimes the challenge is simply loneliness. For an elder who feels forgotten, a young person's visit can bring light. For a teenager struggling to find their place, an elder's reassurance can provide grounding. Facing isolation together reminds both generations that companionship is a powerful form of healing. Even global challenges like pandemics or social upheavals show the value of intergenerational unity. Elders share how they endured past crises, giving perspective and calm. Younger people bring energy, creativity, and the drive to adapt quickly. When these strengths combine, communities become more resilient and hopeful. Facing challenges together also creates lasting memories. Years later, a young person may recall how their grandparent comforted them during a hard time, or an elder may remember the kindness of a grandchild who helped them through illness. These memories become proof that love is strongest when tested by trials. Ultimately, challenges are not just obstacles, they are invitations to grow closer. When generations choose to face them hand in hand, they transform pain into purpose and fear into resilience. In those moments, both the young and the old discover that strength is multiplied when it is shared. At the heart of every intergenerational bond lies the desire to leave something behind. A legacy not of material wealth, but of wisdom, values, and love. Creating a legacy of shared wisdom ensures that the lessons of one generation ripple forward into the lives of those who follow, shaping futures that honor the past while embracing the new. A legacy is not always written in books or carved in stone. More often, it is found in the quiet words of advice given at the right time, in the example set by living with integrity, or in the courage shown during hard seasons. Younger generations carry these memories, even when they don't realize it, drawing strength from them years later. Every story told, every skill taught, and every tradition passed on becomes part of this legacy. When an elder teaches a grandchild how to fix something instead of throwing it away, they're passing on values of resourcefulness and respect for what we have. When they model kindness and generosity, they leave behind a moral compass that no amount of change can erase. Legacies are not limited to families. Mentorship in communities, friendships formed across generations, and contributions made to schools or organizations all become part of a broader inheritance. The wisdom shared in these spaces touches lives far beyond bloodlines, echoing into the lives of strangers who may never even know the elder's name. Shared wisdom also teaches humility, that no single generation has all the answers. By openly exchanging knowledge, both young and old admit they need one another. This humility itself becomes part of the legacy, encouraging future generations to listen deeply, respect diversity, and value learning throughout life. Creating a legacy of wisdom is not about perfection. In fact, sharing mistakes and regrets can be just as powerful as sharing triumphs. When elders admit where they stumbled, they teach courage and vulnerability. Younger generations learn that wisdom often comes through trial and error, not from having all the answers. Technology allows these legacies to endure in new ways. Family histories can be recorded on video, journals can be digitized, and photographs preserved for future generations. In this way, shared wisdom gains permanence, ensuring that voices and lessons will continue to speak long after the storytellers have gone. The beauty of such a legacy is that it grows with time. What begins as a story told at a kitchen table may one day guide a decision in a boardroom, a classroom, or a home far away. Wisdom multiplies when shared. It does not diminish but expands, touching more lives than we can ever count. For elders, the act of sharing wisdom affirms that their lives have meaning beyond their own years. For the young, receiving this wisdom instills gratitude and responsibility to not only carry it forward but to live it out in their own actions. Legacy, in this sense, is not a burden but a gift, one that inspires purpose. In the end, creating a legacy of shared wisdom is about love. It is about leaving behind not just what we have, but who we are. When generations give and receive wisdom with open hearts, they create a chain of connection that time cannot break. That chain becomes the truest inheritance, one built not of gold or possessions but of spirit, memory, and enduring hope.